Hello, let's talk this evening a little bit about changing spaces. Along with changes that new technology brings about, with new web apps, new software, and new hardware, there comes a real need to re engineer learning spaces. Current classrooms, as they are, impede learning because the millennial generation has a preference for doing instead of being lectured to. For these students, experience counts. And both faculty and students desire environments that support a variety of pedagogy, of active pedagogy. In Chapter 10, Schenninger discusses the changes that Clark Hall made to transform itself into a state of the art center for high school students. They went all out. First, they established a better vision, which is really the crucial first step. They strengthened and opened up the wireless network, and that's really crucial if you're going to do stuff like bring your own device. And if you're going to have a lot of people getting on the network, if you want good access, you've got to open up and strengthen that wireless network. They chose to teach and learn in a different way using Web 2.0 technology, social media, and they provided professional development training for their staff. They they enlisted new building construction. They renovated Clark Hall and and created new open spaces. And I think he said in the book that by the time they were done, it looked more like an office building than a high school, which is kind of neat. They created real world spaces. In other words, instead of having your traditional desk in a row, they had my cat just crawled up behind me. They had like sofas and chairs, the beanbag chairs and things like that for the students. Things that you would walk in and go, this is a classroom. This is what is going on here. And then they formed strategic partnerships. And that was your out of the box thinking to raise money to pay for these things. They leased space in the high school. They formed a partnership with the YMCA and the community college and rented some spaces out and used those partnerships to help pay for some of these renovations. And that was really a good idea because in these days of budget cuts, schools are hardest hit sometimes, and you can't really depend on the state or the federal government to bail you out on this. This newly designed space at Clark Hall allows students to move about as they work. They can easily collaborate on projects in open air areas, and students who need individual help can work with teachers in the classroom areas. And the bright and colorful spaces, they repainted everything bright and cheery. They're so much more cheery. Now, my idea of an ideal school, well, I kind of believe I work in an ideal school. The community college that I work for over the past several years has begun to transition from a traditional college, adding online and hybrid classes to their regular schedule. And the college also realizes the importance of reengineering the classrooms. They built an advanced technology building 2 years ago and it's got the latest technology available. That's such a cool building. They have recently updated two older classrooms. In each classroom, they have 6 large touchscreen monitors with a wireless keyboard, and this said the students can work together in groups at each place. The professor has access to an LCD and a main monitor and computer, and the professor can broadcast what's on his screen to all monitors in the room or just to the main monitor. They actually started out with just one, and it became so popular that they had to add a second room. And I believe that it's become so popular with faculty and students that we'll likely see the addition of other classrooms converting to a similar design. Prior to embarking on any of these transitions, our college went through many of the steps that Clark Hall did. The college and the Virginia Community College system established a distance learning vision. Our college strengthened and opened up our wireless network as the other community colleges did as well. And we chose to teach and learn in a different way. And the college has been providing, on a regular basis, continuous professional development. We've built and are continuing to build new construction, updating old facilities and building new construction. We've created real world space. we've got a facility called The Cave, which is a place where students can go to get tutoring help, and it's really cool. It's kind of an open, it's not quite as open air as Clark Hall, but it's similar to that. And of course, then the two classrooms that I told you about. And then we've continued to strengthen our strategic partnerships as well. And so that's really where we the community college has been leveraging those for years. I would like to see the college transform itself over the next several years, similar to the way Clark Hall did, and provide open areas for students to work, or additional areas, I should say. Probably the biggest transformation would be our lecture halls. They were built in the early 60s, and they're in major need of reform to bring them up to date. I have a feeling they're probably already on a list. The college gets its major support from the Commonwealth of Virginia for capital projects. However, we also have a foundation which raises money for the college. And because the college works with many employers in the surrounding communities, we have a large foundation board. And this college and the college board has been instrumental in obtaining funding for our recent capital improvements and additions to the college. The changes that we've made so far have increased student retention and enrollment and improved student engagement. And as BRCC continues to follow its vision for the future, our future looks bright ahead. And I'm reminded of 1 Corinthians 12:8. To one is given through the Spirit the utterance of wisdom, and to another the utterance of knowledge according to the same Spirit.